Here now is Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton. Senator, I was thinking to myself, watching this train wreck unfold today, does this mean we just won't have a secure border until we fixed all the problems in Central America, which have been decades and decades and decades in the making?
Yeah, Laura, Kamala Harris didn't have to go all the way to Guatemala and Mexico to find the root causes of this border crisis, because they're not there. The root causes are in the White House. And they happened on January 20th when Joe Biden took office, and he essentially opened our borders, reversing very effective policies that had our borders under control. That's true even in the eyes of the presidents of Mexico and Guatemala, who during this trip said that Joe Biden is largely responsible for his rhetoric on the campaign trail and during the transition, and then his policies during the administration. That's why we've had 3 straight months of record high illegal immigration at our border, the highest numbers recorded in 20 years. This is not going to stop until Joe Biden recognizes the errors of his ways and begins to stop this crisis at the border.
Well, do you think they want it to stop? Truly. Do they want these illegal crossings to stop?
You know, Laura, it doesn't appear that way. I mean, their definition of success going back to February and March has not been to stop the crossings. It's been to expedite the release of illegal aliens into the country. So they were worried about, bed space and showers and hot meals and all the rest. That is all derivative of the fact that we have so many illegal aliens showing up at our border. If you turn them around in the first place, if you don't let them into the country, you don't have to worry about how many facilities you have to house them or how you're going to put them on an airplane and put them up in a hotel until they find relatives inside the country.
Well, she didn't talk about enforcement at all. I mean, I don't think at all. I don't think she even used the word enforcement at her press conference. And she kept saying, Senator, well, there's no quick fix. It's a complex issue, like marinating in every cliche you can imagine. But in fact, overnight, this problem could be substantially bettered by reinstituting Remain in Mexico, correct? And saying if you come, you're going to be sent back. You are not going to be allowed to stay.
Yeah, the Remain in Mexico policy is a very quick fix. Just say, turn around, go back. You can remain in Mexico until we adjudicate your asylum claim. We're still in the middle of a global pandemic. I know it's gotten a lot better in the United States, Laura, but all across the country, especially or all across the world, especially in Latin America, it's still pretty bad. So we could use the public health authorities that have long been on the books, just close the border. That's what happened last year. And then finally in Guatemala, what Kamala Harris should have been doing is trying to get a safe third country agreement back in place so anyone who crossed through Guatemala, which is in effect everyone who's not Mexican, would have to apply for asylum there. Because you may be seeking asylum when you leave your country, but once you leave another country, you're seeking a better job and a better life.
Yeah, they want new Americans. That's what they did. They want new voters, new Americans, new workers. They don't want to stop this. It's going to be 2 million people by the end of the year. They do not want it stopped. I'm going to say it. Senator, I have to get to this, though. Senators Klobuchar, Blunt, Peters, Portman released this report investigating the January 6th riot, and it contains a list of recommendations that struck me as some of them somewhat concerning. Among them, empower the chief of the Capitol Police to request assistance from the D.C. National Guard in emergency situations and establish civil disturbance unit as a formal, permanent component of the U.S. Capitol Police. Senator, your reaction there? It seems like we're expanding government significantly with this riot as a pretext.
Yeah, Laura, I haven't read all of the report or the recommendations, but to me what happened on Capitol Hill on January 6th was a pretty simple failure of the leadership of the Capitol Hill security forces. Most of that leadership is now gone. Look, we have a lot of practice in fortifying the Capitol during prominent events, whether it's a State of the Union speech or when a foreign leader like Benjamin Netanyahu comes to address the Congress. That's what should have been done on January 6th. It wasn't done. There's been accountability for it. We need to continue to figure out exactly why that happened and what we can do to make sure in the future that it doesn't happen.
Well, I'm worried about an expansion of surveillance of social media or excuses to expand unaccountable moves by people who are not elected. I mean, the Capitol Police Chief is not an elected official last time I checked, and apparently they're going to have authority to request National Guard presence. It just
Laura,
all strikes
I have my
me
doubts
as odd.
about that as well. And it doesn't take a lot of searching. It doesn't take a lot of folks out there probing for greater intelligence. It's clear, like when you have someone like the Pope or Benjamin Netanyahu or the president coming to speak at the Capitol, then you should have greater security around it. I mean, a lot of this is just common sense. Just like we have greater security on the days that Congress is sworn in or the days that the president is inaugurated. We should have had more temporary security in place on January 6th. That was a failure.
I know. Well, that fence is still up there, Senator. They're not going to take that down. I appreciate it. Thank you. And